Meet Marco. He is 24 years old, and like many today, he lives with a mind that refuses to shut down. This constant internal noise has tangible consequences. He struggles to sleep, he rarely smiles, and he navigates his day feeling trapped inside a permanent mental storm. We can see the mechanics of this exhaustion on a timeline. When the mind is stretched and pulled between the regrets of the past and the fears of the future, the central node, the present, vibrates unstably and begins to thin out. By constantly retreating into what was or what might be, the brain effectively abandons the only time it actually inhabits. Peace remains out of reach because, psychologically, the person is never actually here. Looking for a way out, Marco travels to a quiet village in the hills to find an old man, a former city psychologist who retired to the silence of nature. Marco arrives expecting a clinical breakdown of his anxiety. He anticipates hours of talking, hoping to untangle the complex web of thoughts that keep him awake at night. But the old man offers no dialogue. Instead, he fills a glass of water to the absolute brim and hands it to Marco. He tells Marco to walk to the edge of the village and back without spilling a single drop. If he succeeds, he gets his answer. While we often search for complex theories to solve mental distress, a demanding physical constraint can sometimes impose a clarity that words cannot reach. Marco enters the village road, a space filled with deliberate chaos. Children are running, shopkeepers are shouting, and dogs bark at his heels. He moves with total deliberation, one tiny step at a time. His entire world has shrunk down to the surface tension of the water in that glass. This illustrates the concept of cognitive load. Our brains have a limited capacity for processing information. When a high-precision task like this takes up every available inch of that capacity, there is simply no room for other sensory inputs to enter. For Marco, the village noise doesn't just lower in volume, it effectively ceases to exist. His attention is so heavily taxed by the water that the external world is shut out. High-precision tasks naturally tighten the brain's filter. The surrounding noise fades because the cognitive cost of diverting attention to anything else is simply too high. Marco returns to the old man triumphant. The glass is still full, not a drop was lost. The old man asks him about the journey. Did he see the children playing? Did he hear the barking dogs or the calls from the shops? Marco realized he was entirely unaware of his surroundings. He hadn't seen or heard a single distraction on the entire walk. The human brain operates on a default setting that constantly scans the environment for information. Marco's task forced a manual override of that system, narrowing his awareness until the village disappeared. Total focus creates a mental state where anything outside the immediate task is effectively rendered invisible. The old man reveals that the glass of water was a tool to anchor Marco's mind. By forcing him to protect the water, he forced him into the present. Working memory functions like physical real estate. In this grid, we see the demands of the present moment populating every square. When the present moment occupies the grid, thoughts of past and future are physically pushed back. There is no vacant space for them. The brain's architecture makes it difficult to maintain a state of fear about tomorrow while it is fully engaged in the precision of today. Marco realized that peace was a byproduct of his focus. By giving the moment his full attention, he left no space for his old restlessness. He walks home as the sun sets, feeling a quietness he hasn't known in years. He is no longer the anxious man who arrived. Attempting to argue with or fight anxious thoughts directly often just creates more internal noise. The more effective path is to find your own glass of water. This is any singular, demanding task that anchors your attention firmly in the now. By intentionally providing the brain with a physical anchor in the present, you naturally displace the mental storms of the past and future.